Hello, viewers and longboarders of the old and hopefully young variety. We're going to do a little bit of a video history lesson here, which may be a bit of a futile or pointless exercise in today's day and age. I don't know if this is really relevant anymore to kind of talk about, but it's something that means a lot to me, obviously. And I feel like it'd be nice to have some sort of log of at least my perspective of what really inspired me from roughly 2011 to probably about 5 years ago, honestly, is when I kind of stopped mostly paying attention. That said, we're going to take it from the top and kind of just skim through them. I'm going to forget some stuff. It's going to be, a bit subjective, but we're just going to talk about, we're just going to talk a little bit about longboard videos and which ones you should watch if you ever want to get a little stoked. Yeah, it happens. So, wow, what a reveal. Okay, so we're going to start with pintail longboards built by Original Skateboards. And Original is perhaps to be thanked more than almost anybody else as far as brands go for kind of allowing things to grow to the point that they have. Because without this, I probably wouldn't be in it, and I think the same applies to many other people, of course. Loaded is kind of the more positively remembered alternative to this, but basically this video is the one, and the song in it, of course, is the one that really I think of as, okay, let's mute that, as being particularly impactful for me. And that's kind of because of a few things. So, and this is sort of an obvious longboard talking point as far as popularity, but I'm going to reiterate it anyway. This is all very accessible stuff. So if you put yourself in 2009 to like 2011 or so, there was a huge wave of people riding longboards on college campuses in particular, and elsewhere, just kind of as a mode of transportation, an alternative to a bike that's a bit more portable and unique, I guess. Everybody thinks skateboarding's cool at this point, so the idea of a more accessible, larger version that you could ride with little worry of pebbles impeding you was widely appealing. But most of these people were not taking it any further than that. There were a lot of kids my age when I started this. I was kind of coming out of high school. A lot of people were, cruising around on these things, and like you think, okay, well, where's like the biggest hill in my neighborhood? Let's all go there and like try and go down it, or go down a number of hills around us. Unless you lived in a truly mountainous place, in which case you knew that hill probably too big. That said, this kind of capitalized on that idea in a substantial way by, visualizing it. I mean, it's showing a lot of lifestyle cruising in pretty places on country roads. This is a road that you could find damn near anywhere in the U.S. within an hour. You can find some sort of back road and a flat back road and go cross step on it or whatever. Like, anybody can do this, and that's kind of the point. Is saying, hey, look how fun this looks. Get one of our boards, and you can do it too, even if you don't have a board yet. But particularly if you had bought something from Zoomies or a Walmart board, maybe this is like, oh yeah, I should treat myself to a nicer one. Now, that said, the videos are actually quite good at what they're trying to do. Now, today, they're fairly corny, and even for their time, they were pretty corny, but you have to remember we were entering the indie era of just a monumental surge in hipster and like indie folk aesthetics and of course music, and embracing that wholeheartedly. And I don't know, it's all a bounce back from the cynicism of 9/11, but no, maybe, I don't know. Point being, people love this shit, and everybody wanted, a lot of people at least wanted to drag their hand on the pavement a little bit and be like, yeah, you know what, I am in touch with the road, and the implication in the way that they depicted this is, it largely feels like just some sort of never-ending road that, there's not even a concept of this potentially being a situation where this person was dropped off by a car anywhere, because that would shatter the immersion. The illusion here is that you're just cruising on this thing as part of your transportation forever. Like, there's an indefinite 1% grade downhill road that always keeps you going at 10 miles an hour with no effort, and that's what they're depicting here. It's a farce, but not entirely so, but it sells an image that sort of, in my case and many others, would trick people into doing a little more than this, and that kind of segues into sort of the more hardcore original videos, which start by kind of luring you in the same way, and then ramp up with a little bit of freestyle, right? This is just go longboard, and which one of these videos you select is not super important, although I have kind of picked the ones that I think are the most that I remember, right? I mean, like what is that really? What is this? This is all quite ridiculous. So maybe this isn't actually, no, this is not the one I'm thinking of, but this was a little bit freestyle inclined. Yeah, there you go. There's some characters, but okay, that's enough of that one. Here's where it kind of lured you into a little bit more, and you've got this, I remember this guy thinking he was the steeziest dude I've ever seen, sort of a Byron-like character in a way, but I mean, certainly not Byron. Maybe it's the red shirt and the white helmet, but anyway, here you get a little bit more. They're sliding and stuff like that. They're doing things you could arguably call tricks. They're actually skating downhill, as much as it seems painful on this flexy little thing. And so this kind of starts the slippery slope of getting into eventually doing big mountain skating. Something that I don't think that this illusion exists anymore. I think people are all aware of what that is, and they kind of either write it off the bat as I'm never going to do that, or they sort of are specifically striving for downhill. It's a different type of person than I think it used to be, where you would get previously tricked into this. But all that is to say, original is very important, and they were very good at crafting a certain aesthetic. I think that they got sort of a bad rap at the time, just for being corny. There's a video called Mini Mega Ramp. If you really care about the lore here and why they got particularly made fun of at the time, all right, ad block, come on. They built this ramp, and they had like a talking head mini doc thing about how gnarly it was, and you got this guy doing it in a suit. It was a man named Brian Bishop. He was very famous in longboard world at the time for being kind of the figurehead of original, but pretty silly video. I think a little bit self-serious, and then Venom, yeah, they made a parody of it, which kind of, yeah, that's yep. Which actually, to add further to the lore and my involvement in this, Venom would go on to eventually make a video of Zach Madem, the owner of Venom. They would go on to make a video of him skating down this spillway, which, to be fair, is quite large and I'm sure quite scary, but he's wearing a suit and his arrow lid. The arrow lid really takes it up a notch, I think. But it's got what song? Judas Priest, Hellrider. So yeah, it's a ridiculous video, frankly, I think, in the same sense that the Mini Mega Ramp is. So naturally, I made my own parody of that. And if all things go as they should, somebody will make fun of me in an equal way if anybody cares to. So opening up that option, but oh, spoiler alert, not there yet. Okay, next. This is gonna be a bit of a switch up. This is a break. Oh, here we go. So we got a little break here. Oh, of this is a channel called Guff, and this is a bit niche here, but you know, the original aesthetic is a very curated and professionally produced sort of thing. I mean, they had nice cameras and stuff, very nice cameras for the time, so the quality still looks good. This is the real 2011, yeah, like this is reality, was a GoPro 1 with, what is this, 4x3 output and... you know, pretty haggard quality. And this is something you don't see much today, and that's largely justified because it's typically not very engaging to watch. It's ugly. It looks slow. It's usually not edited in a way that does any favors to the pacing, especially looking back with... social media brain, but yeah, this is an excellent video. I would recommend this. So to explain what this is, it's a Chinese downhill outlaw ditch race. It's just a shit ton of people all race down a 3-mile long downhill ditch in Albuquerque at once, and they start way over here and they push on like this major road shoulder over to the entrance of the ditch, and they're shooting fireworks at each other, and Zach Madem actually makes an appearance here, funnily enough. I'm not going to skim through and spoil it too much, but there's a series of fun little Easter eggs and twists and turns and surprises in this. It's really the stuff dreams are made of as far as any kind of racing, any sort of device, anywhere, in my opinion. Excellent video, beyond what you would expect. And this is like the perfect video that, like, if you and a group of people who care at all about this kind of thing are all sitting in the living room, everybody's high, nobody wants to pick a YouTube video to put on the screen as the next one because people might not like it. This one's quite long, I guess, for that, but I don't care. It's good. So put this on. Everything will be fine. You'll buy yourself 6 or 7 minutes. I think the very end, you can maybe skip like 30 seconds of it if you're that pressed for time. Excellent video. And as a bonus, you absolutely have to watch Duck Battle. Not a longboarding video. It's like a minute long. Watch it. Incredible. Incredible YouTube video. Same channel. Crazy. Okay, so this brings us here, and second nature, you know, if you've read about anything video-wise or talked about it or talked to anybody from any time, somebody's probably brought this up, right? It's a very well-known video, and it's one of the few that I think is gonna... It stands the test of time in a way that most of these videos don't, predominantly due to music and the overindulgence in some of that music and that sort of aesthetic, because let's face it, the early 2010s are pretty cheesy. But this, you know, this is also 2009, but anyway, excellent video. Sets a really nice tone. Really immersive, some really cool camera work. So this basically summarizes big mountain skating in a way that I don't think anything else really does. You know, and that's largely due to the sound, I would say. The fact that it's the Sierras, I mean, they kind of define that aesthetic as well. that feeling. But the sound is incredible. As far as wind whooshing goes and whatnot, they used a real microphone on this, which is quite rare. The camera work is really dynamic and engaging in a way that most things aren't. I mean, if you take this at face value, it's actually just three guys half tucking a grip run with some mellow sweepers and never doing so much as a slide, right? Yet the camera manages to pull it together in a way that is strangely interesting to watch, and on repeat viewings too, weirdly enough. And they're cutting at cars and stuff. They kind of founded this thing that Liam Morgan would later to some extent abuse, arguably, but and also strangely impressive digital stabilization on this footage. This is in the age of DV tapes, and you've got a digital stabilization that looks like weirdly good and like actually somehow makes it almost better. Even in all of its jankiness, I don't know what all that's about. I mean, look at the flares jumping around, but who cares? It's like the perfect video. It's got some fun little segues. They do some slides. You can tell it's very much in the time when doing a slide was like, oh man, I'm gonna do a slide. I mean, look at that. The man, you can't beat the CCD era of cameras as far as, I mean, just all the chromatic aberration and like how warm everything is. It just looks so damn cool. It really does. And then you got some abstract underwater stuff. There's I think a lot of people forget that there's some weird stuff, like they're wearing animal costumes. There's a very strange animated sequence that, I think people forget about this. I forgot about. Oh, he's wearing a red beanie just like me. That's nice. Excellent video, made seemingly not by a longboarder at all, and of course featuring three iconic names right here: Noah Sakamoto, Patrick Rizzo, and J.M. Duran. What exactly they did, I don't know, but they were all quite good for their time and sort of supposedly innovative. But again, I can't pinpoint anything other than these videos, than this video really. There's sort of a precedent to this, them wearing suits. There's a video called Blue Suit Bombers, which is a much jankier, it's like a 15 frames a second, very strange, kind of shitty video at Claremont, which is a hill in Northern California. But this is much better. I would skip the Blue Suit Bombers video unless you really want to know where this kind of originates from, and that inspired a lot of Californians. I know that, but for me, I saw it too late. So by the time I did find it, it was just a shitty video. This video, amazing. But yeah, odd that some of the better video folks for this aren't actually longboarders, and maybe part of that is they don't need to be skating. That's I think something that I certainly struggled with was wasn't getting coverage because I wanted to skate. So anyway, what do we got next? Let Go. Okay, so this is this is another monumental sort of thing. Okay, let's not that. Okay, Let Go. So come on. Okay, Let Go. So this is probably the corniest video we're gonna look at today. Like, even more than the original videos, this is just truly very corny. It's got the instrumental, I mean, it's got some lyrics in it, but it's got a Third Eye Blind song that is just, it's like kind of excruciating to look back on and watch. It's really hard to truly appreciate this video, I think. But at the time, I mean, you could almost watch it silent and it'd be great, but at the time, this was a huge deal, and this is probably responsible for more, downhill skaters than anything for pretty much a decade. Like, most people came from having seen this video, which is actually quite strange because there's only 7 million views, but again, in the scheme of longboarding, that's actually a lot. I mean, that's like as much as you could hope to see in this era. Because again, this is all pre sort of Josh Newman raw runs, so like Instagram type view counts. And I should note we're kind of skipping over raw runs in this because that's just a whole other can of worms that I don't know that I even want to talk about because there's just too fucking many. It's a little bit easier to narrow it down to actually properly edited videos. Whether or not they contain follow runs is another thing. That said, this is it was a very well produced video. You got lots of locked off shots. It's got some good staples of the time, like this right here. This is it was shot on what, a 5D or something, 7D. Okay, so this is like early DSLR. It's like the first year or two that you could really shoot videos with a DSLR. So people were like, oh my god, depth of field, like shallow depth of field. I can open up my lens a little bit. So you end up with a lot of rack focuses, weird shots like this, looking at the fence or whatever, like frankly kind of ugly in my book, but certainly a staple of the time. And then, handheld footage. This is all before the follow car had really been conceived of, at least in its modern incarnation, but a lot of, butt-boarding rollers there. This is Kyle Chin, by the way. He was once a very well-known orangutan longboarder. Skating on truly ancient technology here, but really a cool board, though. I remember seeing this was a Comet Voodoo doll, and I remember seeing it being like, man, that thing is sick. Like, that's way cooler and smaller than a pintail or like a Lanyard's drop deck or something. Like, he's skating a top mount. He's fucking badass. I mean, look at the way that... Look at his back leg. Oh my god, that's cool. Yeah, very important video. Not so much one I would recommend, but certainly one we have to mention. Okay, and that's kind of a segue into Loaded as a whole, and that's sort of something that I cannot... it's so dense, right? There's a lot of... there's this Whirling Dervish video, which... Some of these things, like, this is something that I'm aware was... this got a lot of people into it as well. Certainly into the dancing world, which eventually would be... similarly subject to ridicule to a lot of the original stuff. Cross-stepping and dancing and stuff, and all of that kind of garnered shame once we entered the stand-up skating era of, like, 2013. But this was a big video at the time as well. This is old, 2007. So this is truly formative and really bare bones. But probably worth checking out as well, but not one that, again, Let Go actually was a big deal for me. This really wasn't. I didn't come across this, but I know it was a big deal. I never had a Loaded, so I should say that a lot of this stuff I just didn't have it. Now, Flipping the Switch, I remember this. This was, I believe, this is James Kelly. Yeah, he's skating in Hollywood and some of these narrow roads. Now, this is good stuff. And Loaded was a lot of this kind of stuff. Orangutan as well. Their branding was very much... they had a lot of animation. It was very fun and creative. Carving systems, interesting. Don't remember that. Yeah, you had... These are all Adam Colton videos. The two Adams, Adam Colton and Adam Stokowski. These two really pioneered a lot of the world of media in this whole activity. But not a whole lot to say about these. You could just... If you stick to this time period... And just click on popular. Here you've got a fun. This was like, okay, Beanpole Productions. All right, we're gonna get there. We'll just talk about them now. These guys were like, I remember thinking this was the coolest shit ever. These were some Australians, I believe, right? I remember thinking this was like a movie, and it's got a lot of glitch editing, like with ultra slow mo. I think they were using some Twixtor stuff. Wow, in retrospect, this is rough. Fuck, this video sucks. He does have a cool... There's one cool video from this guy. Yeah, Longboarding Dream. This video is actually cool. If you want something that really gets you going for some pack riding, and I mean, this is what it really was at the time, is you just go straight next to each other, but cool tunes on this one. Shot on, I don't know what they shot this on. Also on a 7D. Still looks good. I remember just being blown away by this stuff. Anyway, a little footnote with Beanpole. But, yeah, you know, Loaded has a lot of trick tips and stuff that are pretty fun. Adam Colton was, this was all about, like, oh yeah, we got them perps. Now this, alright, we got to talk about this. These are like, these four guys are like pretty much everything of that time. These are the definitive four characters of roughly 2008 to like 2013 or so. Onward, man, I would honestly argue up till like for like a decade, really. But they were huge at this time, and this is just them skating down, I think like Mount Baldy or something. I don't know, I haven't been here, but sick fucking video. This video is awesome. And Loaded holds up pretty well because it's all very light in tone. Almost none of it's very self-serious. They use fun music. Nothing too deliberately of the time. Shot this video on a Red one time when Red first was... When the Red 1 first came out. I had a crane here. But all these guys were insanely above what anybody else was doing. You gotta remember, Louis basically pioneered the pre-drift and racing. Yeah. Shout out Loaded. Give them... If you want to learn, go, like, even their oldest videos really hold up in a way that we don't have now. This video is really cool, too. This was, like, maximum production. Look at this. I thought that was the coolest shot ever. Still looks good. But these were also two like kind of technical wizards, right? So that's a stiff board. This was a super expensive board at the time. It was like $400, which now is basically like $600 or $700 for a deck, right? And now that's, you know, more commonly heard of because there's so many composite boards. But this was like, oh my god, you got a chubby unicorn, 'cause that's what it was called. And yeah, it's got a funky track here. Here, let's show some Ethan Cochard real quick. Yeah. Ethan Cochard had, you know, you could argue there's a little bit of tryhard steez in there, but Ethan Cochard's sick as fuck. Both these guys are super technical, and he kind of defines, I would say Ethan Cochard defines the Pacific Northwest style. Pretty sure that's where he's from. That's what I associate him with. And couldn't put a finger on it. I mean, I can see what he's doing with his arms and his legs, right? And you can too, but I don't know why I think of that as so definitively Pacific Northwest. And Kyle Chin, of course, who we saw in No Let Go video before. And then, you know, just to kind of further hammer home how fun this channel was and this brand, you know, they have little skits like this where they're, you know, tossing a supposed time bomb around. And this is sort of a thing that I think is, I don't know, this is very 2010s YouTube, you know. I don't know that anybody would care for this anymore. I can't say I'd recommend this one a whole lot. It's probably kind of funny. But it's interesting, so, you know, it might work for you. But I would say, well, just fuck around with Loaded a bit, throw on a playlist with the boys, like, it really will open your mind to things that if you watch anything from 2015 onward, you're just not going to see. Anyway, I'm already rambling and kind of getting lost in the sauce here. But, yeah, if you want to learn, this is where you learn. Their trick tips are insanely helpful, and that's not something that really exists anymore. You've got Downhill 254, which is today's sort of longboard education channel. predominantly about gear. This is the equivalent of that, but with technique. So, very important. And I actually want to shout out this video, which we'll touch again on these fellas right here. I believe. Oh, I don't actually have a note for him. All right, we'll talk about him now. So, longboarding Day and Dea. Now, Dea? I don't know. This is from potentially the best, probably the best longboard video guy of all time, hands down. We're just going to go ahead and talk about Perropro. Fucking A, I forget what the real guy, the guy's actual name is, but he's Perropro. And he always does videos with these two guys. You got Toady and you got Bruno. And some of the most stylish fellers there ever were. This is when they were like little babies. And they're doing some funky little cheater tricks and silly stuff here, but like so stylish. And this was my first board. I had a Lanyards 925, unless that's a Switch, but anyway. He makes it look so fucking cool in a shocking way, but really charming video, the way that they're like in all these narrow little, yeah, there's the cheater trick. They're in all these little narrow alleys, like they're not wearing gloves. They're sliding around and stuff. They're seemingly like in heaven, this little town. There's a nice glow to the video. I remember from my very first video, I had just seen this and immediately proceeded to rip it off with like, I have it somewhere. It's the worst video ever made. It's terrible. But yeah, this is a really charming video that brings me back. So we're going to have to do a time jump here. In terms of our formatting for this isn't all going to be chronological, but time jump. Fast forward to 2014, I believe, 2015. Longboarding, a Portuguese adventure full length, which if there's something Perropro was excellent at, it was titles. Longboarding dash like a Portuguese adventure full length. Full length. It's 11 minutes. Doesn't matter, because it's Perropro. They're like, this dude just knows how to shoot and cut something together, in a really humble and yet super emotional way. He just brings things together in a way that's just perfect. I mean, I hate drone shots and like I hate drones. And I love it here. It's just, and this is almost just a skateboarding video, right? Almost. And this is, they're much older at this point. I guess only 4 years. That's kind of crazy. But truly wonderful stuff, Perropro. There's a genuineness in his videos that remains charming. It's never cheesy like all the other shit. He uses very minimalist music, sort of regional feeling, or it certainly feels, of the location, right? But, I mean, they're just cruising around and doing cool little dick around stuff. I mean, that's sick. Like, this is all nothing I could do. But in the world of street skating, it's very dick aroundy type stuff. And, there's no attempt to maintain a sense of production value. Like look, what is that? What is this, right? What are these shots? I don't even remember these, and I've seen this video I don't know how many times. But there's no shame in him abandoning any sense of format. And that's something that, like, it's just fun. It's fun and, like, establishing a feeling at any cost. Like, it doesn't matter. Everything else is besides the point. The consistency doesn't matter. And that's something I really admire. As somebody who, I'm obsessed with format, right? Like, I make rules and I follow them on a video by video basis. Like, I decide what I want to do and I follow those rules. I'm too much of a coward, I think, to be willing to do a lot of what he does in terms of utilizing footage that I would have probably thrown away. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I mean that in the best way possible. Like, he sees things and stuff that you wouldn't normally see. I've never really waxed on about Perropro. It's kind of my first time, but that and like this, for instance, like that it's a very strange clip. And a lot of the skating is very strange. I mean, in a very similar sense, these guys don't give a shit about any rules or really what they're doing at all. It's all about having fun, which you could say about just about everything, but boy, is it particularly true here in a way that it isn't in anything else. Like skate park footage, like that is certainly breaking format, if nothing else. And then just absolutely perfect music selection every time, all the time. He always, like, it's like if there was one song in the entire world he had to find, he found it. And this is one of the coolest sequences, like follow run sequences of all time, is Toady skating here. He cuts in and out of it, and this is a truly incredible video. And he has a number of great videos. I really like his Dominican one. Yeah, like what the fuck are these video titles? And he still posts on occasion, not necessarily longboarding, but he still posts. Yeah, there's an irony to who I would consider a really admirable artist in recent times falling to the temptation of AI. He's just been churning out slop, dude. It's like really painful to see. It hurts, man. Okay, what are we after? Yeah. All right, let's revert to original real quick. We have to talk about Mike Virgin, and this is sort of the peak of all things freestyle and dancing before it kind of fell off the face of the earth and became an entirely different community. Because now there's like no overlap hardly with it's literally a different community, but. This kid's like, I think he was 14 at the time. He just did a tray flip on an Apex 40 diamond drop. But yeah, I'll just show you this first clip. Sickest like 360 shoves and all that stuff that people kind of discarded for a number of years after this. Now you see like Jesse Fabrizio has brought this back and incorporated it with like top level downhill in a way that is nice to see, because this was huge when this, 2 million views. This is all anybody was talking about when this came out. And that's pretty rare. And it's just some kid in Ohio. And he disappeared forever. There's like a video where he's like, just had to go to rehab, and he's like a child. Yeah, look at this kid. Worst song in a longboard video of all time. Horrible fucking song. Like, excruciating. Terrible. Bad song. Bad song. But, yeah, learn to 3-shove. I never fucking did. I was too scared. What's next? Okay. Let's get into LBDR. This is a fun one. So this is kind of, I don't even know where to start. Now this is perhaps the most self-serious of anything, but in a way that actually works. Even today, looking back, I mean, as you get older and these guys get younger relative to yourself, it's harder to take them seriously, but this video is probably where to start. Okay. So it's Laguna Beach Danger Riders, and they're a super exclusive crew or something. Featuring, of course, Liam Morgan. And, truly incredible skating, especially for the time. I mean, you don't see people skate like this much anymore. Not in this way. I mean, you see people do fast switch checks. Like, of course, there's only so many things you can do. But like anything, it's all about style and the way that you go about it, and the portrayal of your level of control. And Liam has never been somebody that and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like he's never been somebody that like looks 100% in control. And that's good because it's fucking boring to watch all the Europeans now who all have textbook form and they all look identical, and there's almost never a question of like, even when they do make a mistake, it looks like it was a calculated plan that they had accounted for in their fucking spreadsheets. This is somebody who very clearly came up in a time where nobody else was doing this. And so he's just making the board do the things that it needs to do. And he's at the edge of what he's able to do. And he's making it happen. And I mean, I don't think there's anybody who's... I'm like, he still skates like this today. That's the crazy thing, is I don't think anybody has skated at this level for this long. So that's our little Liam appreciation thing, because everybody else from this era has largely petered out, or if they are still skating, they're not skating in the same way that they used to. And from everything I see, he appears to still be doing that. And LBDR, it's danger riding, right? The idea is all about skating steep neighborhoods with lots of driveways in a very rich area with smoking weed and drinking 40s, and walking around town and stuff, and having Fernando Yuppie, having him come visit. And he's kind of a whole other character you can look into. A tech sliding guy, I'll say that much, but very fun sort of recurring character in these videos before he just stopped coming to the U.S. I heard there's some sort of reason why, but anyway, really talented dude. But yeah, fun fucking videos. These are great. If you can, just don't. If you're a kid, don't be under any illusion that this is... Well, actually, no. If you're like a kid and this appears like truly, unabashedly like badass to you, good. It should. It did for me. It's just hard to see anymore. Oh yeah, fuck. There's an Everin Ozen video. That guy. If you want to see somebody going way too fast in neighborhoods, watch this guy. Yeah, look at this. Okay, I guess a lot of this just doesn't look as crazy as it did at the time. But he's skating through this place in a suit, so it gives you some perspective when you see all the free riding here and how crazy that looks. And then see this. Yeah, okay, no, it still does look pretty fucked up. It still looks fucked up. So LBDR, don't forget it. Ever. Now, okay, we're going to talk about... How far are we now? Oh my god, it's already been 42 minutes. Okay, we got to speed up. Fucking A, I could talk about this for years. Woo, okay, we're going to talk about... Skatehouse Media. Yeah. So... Aw. Well, I guess they let this site die again. So Skatehouse Media was a website, and you can look through their YouTube. This was sort of the equivalent of, I guess, the Barracks, but the Barracks of 10, 15 years ago. This was really oh, titties, gnarly. Anyway, this was kind of not necessarily a news aggregation, but it was a media aggregation of what was going on in longboard world all over the place. And this made it feel like a connected, thriving world where shit was happening all the time. Where it felt like you're missing out on stuff and you're like, whoa, holy shit, so-and-so's doing that there. And just getting a picture of the whole world of longboarding. This was all kind of, if you watch the James Kelly, Blood Orange James Kelly video, he kind of talks about the origins of it, but It's essentially just where they posted a bunch of videos, and this is where a lot of the older California stuff comes from. You know, they had guests that would show up. This was all based on the definitive skate house, which I actually did get to stay at a couple times before it was gone back in the day. But yeah, it was a house in Santa Monica or something. It was right by the airport. I don't remember, but very famous house. If you got to go there, it was like considered really, really cool. And they were always skating tuna. And they always had okay, let me click on one. Where was it? I just saw it. Yeah. I'll click on this. Byron. Best there ever was. Look at that style. Oh, where is it? They always had fun little overlays. Sometimes, like, whatever the song, like, at the beginning, they always had, like, a clip of something, some copyrighted material, and then sometimes you might see an overlay in the sky of whoever's singing the song. As far as, like, the actual content of it, not necessarily revolutionary. It was more about the collective of all of it together on a website, and if you got featured on that website, which I did get a feature on that website eventually, right before they were gone, but it was like, damn, I made it on fucking Skate House, like, no way. But yeah, shout out Matt K for editing most of those videos. Also, one of the more stylish dudes of all time, skating wise. And most of it's here. I couldn't really. All I would recommend from this, if you don't want to, there's a shuffle button here, so you can hit that, and there's actually some pretty iconic stuff. Ooh, this is. Fuck. This is. You think you're gonna take it easy, right? This is like one of the first real raw runs of the car. This is the first one that's a big deal. Sorry, it's a raw run, but. Boo. Yeah, there's some sick shit in here. You can usually tell what it is by just the names, but I'm going to be honest, most of it is garbage. So it's kind of like a roulette wheel hitting shuffle on this, because it's probably going to be a really skitty video by today's standards. But some of it's really cool. If you can find anything, Skates Giving, Skate House, Skates Giving 2011. Ooh, that's a cool video. Speaking of kind of raw runs, as far as handheld cameras in a pack of a grip run. Oh, this isn't the raw run Mordor. That's the one you want. I guess it is a raw run, but it's got that going. It's fucking sick, man. It's a miracle, this video, of like the timing of appearances. There's never a time. There's no dead space without somebody on screen. There's always a new person coming in and going out. Everybody's shuffling around going down this road. Really good. But all the Skates Giving videos go pretty hard. These are like really early kind of North Carolina investigation videos. This is when people were first really going and checking that shit out. There were a couple dudes that lived there, but this was like, you know, they'd go there and be like, wow, this area is really dank. And then it wasn't, and shit, people were skating Surf Spot 14 years ago. Of course, now, basically everybody has moved there. It's an inevitability that you have to fight really hard to not end up there if skating is your thing, right? And I think that's somewhat unfortunate. Not for North Carolina itself, but for everywhere else, because the scenes, I think the nationwide community has suffered from the exodus and migration, or just really the centralization of everybody on the West or East Coast. Everybody's in like one of 2 to 3 places who really cares to keep skating like that. And I get it, you want to be where the good shit is, but there was a time. There it is, Skate Slate. Oh, yeah, okay. Cat in Blue. So this is from a guy named Brock Newman made this video. This is also 2011. This is like the ultimate 2011 neighborhood edit. Super sick for the time. Very fun. A lot of Hillside Herald going on. But yeah, this is a good throwback of what every, you know, longboarder in their first couple of years had hoped to make in their local neighborhood. Let's see, Spring with Byron. This guy made another cool video for These Wheels called. There's a lot of slow-mo. This guy liked his slow-mo and like classy fonts, editing, that sort of thing. We're gonna save that also. Cool video. Very cool switch pre-drift. Really tight editing. This guy's like a big-time producer, director or something now. I don't know. He does a lot of commercial work. Pretty cool. But let's talk about crew videos because, and actually before we get to this, so we're going to talk about crew videos now. So we'll start with BC Collective. One of the, you know, LBDR, of course, is kind of the definitive crew. And around this time, everybody suddenly started naming their group of friends a crew, and they had a YouTube channel. And there were like 100 YouTube channels of like, you know, in my case, Stillwater Longboarding Crew. And so everything was like something LC, or like, it'd be like, you know, something longboarding media. There's a lot of media, right? But yeah, watch BC Collective 2011. Very good, like, you know, 2011 vibes. Canadian crew of guys, just like summer, you know, like, oh, it's the best summer ever, dude. Like, if you're like a teenager, you're like, oh, summer is so awesome. We skated all summer. It was amazing. You go watch this and you get to have that feeling. Really good video though. Really well put together. Still holds up. And if you want like the higher quality, like the, I don't know who was editing these things. Colton Killerin. Oh yeah, that's right. Because he edited them and he was like the miniature Byron skater, like super stylish motherfucker. Yeah, here he goes. He was like Byron but with more arms. And yeah, pretty much it. But this is a really good video too. Good song actually. This is like 2011 music done right in a video. All right, next crew. We've got AHR 2013. So these were Australians, and so it's kind of cringe that was like a 36-second like intro narrated bit that's like an inspirational narration, and they took it from I think a Nike commercial or something. It's a truly ludicrous little bit, but like, you know, you still, nonetheless, you can't help but like smile and be like, oh shit, they do seem kind of epic. And then it jumps into like a, you know, just a montage of a year's worth of skating for all these dudes. And, you know, they had Matt Kay there, so he's in it, which, you know, he was a big deal. So yeah, good video. Worth a check. Fuck. Skate PHX, dude. Oh my god. Now this is the best crew video of all time. Okay. And they have another couple cool videos. They have a cool slow-mo one, but so they had episodes of this, I guess, initially, and that's what I came up watching, but he eventually did a cut of everything together. It's 20 minutes long. Again, a year worth of skating, but it just, man, you really feel like you're friends with all these guys. You're certainly like looking up at them like, wow, that is the coolest group of longboard fellas I've ever seen. And this is something that feels sorely missed today. Like, I miss crew videos. You know, everybody had their community. Every community had their standout one or two skaters that people would come to know because they were the good ones. But this is a truly incredible video. If you can watch 20 minutes of longboarding, of course, which if you're here, you better fucking be able to if you're still listening. amazing video. This is from Amir Adib, I think is his name. Yeah, so good. It's got some skateboard clips, good music. I think it's just a lot of the editing is like it's cut up in a way that's really memorable. Like you just when I go back and watch it, I still like you can anticipate certain cuts coming up and certain things people say because it's really that just perfect. Yeah. Unlike anything, you're like, oh, I'm sure they could have cut some of it out. I mean, look at this. Look at this clip. With September playing. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about this. I waxed on a lot about our first few videos, but this just has. It's a lot of variety. They had a lot of guests. This is at the time when people would tour, so you'd actually have cool people show up to your city. Like, nobody's fucking stopping in Phoenix to skate anymore. Of course not. Got some Mount Lemon stuff. This is like the gnarliest looking shit. I remember this dude's baggy pants. But this is very much like, it's not a production value type of thing. It is well shot, but this is all, I don't want to say amateur because it's not. And there are some really professional shots in this, but this is very much a dude filming with his friends. This is when I don't know how they came up on it, but they get to film with a Phantom. It shoots like 1,000 frames a second. So that's cool. Amazing video. Okay, now here's a good one. Here's a great self-serious one that now we're getting into European video territory, and I think this is really the only Euro videos we're going to talk about. But insanely high production value on these things. I mean, this was like the Avengers or something. They shot it like a movie. At times they had. This is almost like this is the longboard equivalent of Top Gear. That's what this is. But for like a big trip, a big epic Euro tour. I think maybe this guy's the guy who made these things, but it was monumentally epic at the time. But looking back, it's actually kind of boring, and it's funny to look back on. Honestly, I don't know, you kind of have to watch this almost in a cynical way. And kind of like man, they had it good. They were, there was money in it at this point, right? These guys all felt like fucking rock star athletes, but, and they're talking about boards and stuff. It's a great time capsule, but again, you have to watch it with with a little bit of distance because, you really cannot afford to take it too seriously because, it takes itself too seriously for you. So not to rag on it too much, but I mean, a big part of the problem is it's shot in such an epic way, it's shot and edited and built up in this way that feels like you're building up to the most epic skating in the most epic locations you've ever fucking seen. But there's almost no actual footage of skating. It's all them driving around and talking about their boards and being like, oh, Patrick Switzer wakes up late in the morning. I'm really stoked to be here, but my bushings, and it's just where the fuck do they even ever skate? It's they talk about skating. What is this, Sustin Pass? They talk about skating it for it's 5 minutes of we're gonna skate this crazy fucking road, dude. We're all suited up. We're gonna go 60 in the tunnel. It's wet in the tunnel, dude. This is we're basically, Alex Honnold levels of athletes, right? I hope we fucking survive this, bro. And then you get, they came out of the thing with, maybe a minute of crane footage, or whatever this is, but, they couldn't feasibly skate this way, of course, not in a real way. So you're not even seeing how they're actually skating. You're just seeing them, fail to shut down in time to not rear-end the car. And then, it's just out of control because this is before the time when that was possible. But of course, Filming backwards has always been bad. It's never good. It's never been good. There's not one shot in the history of longboarding shot backwards like this that's any fucking. There's one. Okay, this is the only video that's ever been shot backwards that's any good. I'm saying it now. This is a video of a bunch of people skating down Cowtown, just free riding, and then it's fun to watch, and they get a little silly with it, and Byron gets in front, and everybody falls except Byron by the end of it, and great video. Looks like a great session. Fun little thing. Only time this has ever fucking worked. Everything else looks bad. So yeah, I'm kind of here to shit on Greener Pastures. I'm bringing it back just to shit on it. But man, it was a big deal at the time, and it's certainly a good time capsule into what Europe was like then, and gives you a framework for why Europe remains so self-serious and like athlete bro kind of minded today still. It's always been that way. So, yeah. I mean, these are very much cyclists, like these guys are cyclists. They just happen to have longboards, and then you have a few heroic Americans like G-Mac, who was extremely good. Fuck, there's a really good G-Mac video. Fuck, this dude was okay. Yeah, this video, quick rain vid, and I'm talking shit on. Yeah, they letterboxed it with white, and it actually works really well. He's just cruising. This doesn't really do him justice actually, but this dude was an insane switch skater. Like, yeah, watch some G-Mac. I think he's mostly relegated to skate house content, but shout out G-Mac. Okay, that's not exactly what we're looking for. Yeah, there he switched now. Ooh, sick. Yeah, fuck Greener Pastures kind of. The second one, Greener Pastures Offshore, they go to the Canary Islands, and it's a good bit sicker, but this first one's some bullshit, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. Give it a look. Smoke a few extra bowls. Make fun of it. Whatever. And I talk about being self-serious. Me with my fucking, up their own ass videos. So that either means I can't say anything or I am authorized to say something. Yeah, this video. This was a big deal. This was like the advent of like people knowing what reds were and like shooting raw so they can make everything look red. Crank up all the highlights warm. This was a very self-serious video, but it's honest, like when he flicks the fucking thing in slow-mo. Definitely some Liam Morgan shit, but honestly pretty sick. Cemetery, 5 mile an hour, switch toe. Really making it happen. You can see how flat it is. They're like, dude, we got to go to the cemetery for this shot. And Liam's like, oh, it's flat, dude. And they're like, too bad, it looks sick. But yeah, certainly it's a video. All right, I'm gonna take a break and come back another time because I'm getting sick of this.